This lesson, I'm continuing with the perspective tool. The vanishing point filter is available in Photoshop. Let's say I had this drawing and I want to experiment with what wainscoting along the wall might look like. So the perspective filter, the vanishing point filter, allows me to define planes, 4 points, and then adjust those points. What I'm doing here is defining the plane between the baseboard and about the height of this existing chair rail here. That's going to be our perspective. I'm guessing what's behind the table there. If I hold down the control key, I can drag a perpendicular perspective plane from the corner at a right angle from there. That's really convenient. Give me Control Plus to zoom in on this drawing. And I'm going to pull this down. Well, that's okay. We'll leave it exactly there. I'm going to need another plane along this wall. So I will just select that tool and begin drawing it right over that that area. Now I'm doing this very coarsely, just to demonstrate how, when you have a, for instance, like a 2-point perspective, how this tool might work. We still need to select. Okay, so once we've set up our perspective planes, and hit OK, so those exist, those get saved. You still need to select the area into which you wish to draw this wainscoting. So let's start. Let's use a polygonal lasso tool. We'll do this approximately. So I'm tracing around the area into which I want this texture to appear. So the perspective filter is going to create the transformation of the texture. And the selection that I'm going to save, let's just call it south, and then we'll call the other one east. So we're saving that selection. We're going to create another selection, and we'll call that wainscot east. So I'm just selecting the area into which I want to draw the wainscoting. I think I'm going to go past the geometry of that table there. Save that selection. East one, and then we'll need another one. Oh, let's just go past all this. It'll be close enough. And save that selection. Select, save selection, and east 2, 3, whatever. Okay. Control D, deselect. Let's load up. Let's check our masks to make certain that there's a south area we're going to draw in, there's the east area we're going to draw in, there's a second east area that we're going to draw into. Go back to our layers. Let's duplicate that background layer. So we have a copy of that. Let's select a new layer. Let's create a new layer for my onions cut cells. Load that selection. And go into the perspective filter, the vanishing point filter. So I'm going to paste, oops. Let's go to the drawing that had, we need to load that on our clipboard. So let's go to the wood floor drawing, select all, copy, back to this drawing, back to the vanishing point filter, paste that texture. Now you notice that it pasted into an area that is outside the boundaries of our selection. But when we drag it into here, we see that it's revealed, and the transformation, the distortion, is being created according to the perspective filter. Right? So there's one. Okay. When we go back to the drawing, we see we've drawn only into that area, and it's applied a transformation. Control D to deselect. Oops. Let's select now. Let's load the first wainscot, east texture. So now that's the area into which I'm going to constrain my drawing. I'm going to create a layer for it, as we did. Let's go east 1. Always create layers when you're working in this mode. Go back into the vanishing point filter where it's revealing the perspective grids that we have set up. Control paste. Again, because we don't see the texture because we're constrained into this area that we're drawing. But once I drag it over this selection, the perspective transformation is being applied. For better or for worse. Wainscoting is actually vertical, right? But that we'll have to do for now. It's just illustrating how this works. Hit OK. Control D to deselect. So wainscot east is on its own layer. We'll create a third layer. Wainscot east 2. Let's load that selection. I think I inadvertently named it Wainscot East 3, no matter. So that's going to constrain our drawing into that area. That this layer is active. Back into our vanishing point filter. Paste that texture back in, and now drag it over to this area. It's not quite big enough to fill it, but you get the idea. We'll start at that end. Enter. Select, deselect, Control D, deselect. Okay, if I had been more careful, I could have drawn around these furnishings, but the point was to illustrate how the perspective filter tools work. Notice that the texture in the corner here is not quite aligned believably with that perspective. It's going to work. It's going to, the transformation is going to be as compelling or as accurate or as persuasive as you are careful with defining the boundaries of that perspective condition. So hopefully this was helpful to you guys.